Top 10 amazing fantasy manhwa you haven't read yet. A lot of people tend to read fantasy comics or manhwa, but what if you find something that can immerse you into a different world? Reading manhwa itself has been one of the best experiences for many people, but what if you find something which can take you on an adventure of an incredibly different world? Yes, today in this video, we are discussing fantasy webcomics or manhwa. With the wide variety of webtoons that exist in the world, it might be a little difficult for you to make the perfect choice. But when you look for something with rich, amazing, and fantastic elements, then these fantasy manhwa or webtoons have everything in them. If you haven't read any of them yet, then we present you our top 10 choices for you. Starting off with our number 10, A Good Day to Be a Dog. This webtoon is really funny and lovely. You will definitely fall in love once you give this amazing story a chance. Hana turns into a dog through a kiss, as it is her family's inevitable curse. The only way to break free of the curse is to grab a second kiss from the person she took first kiss. Well, now this is tricky since she kissed a guy who is afraid of dogs. Is there any way she can make that happen in these odds? Read this romance fantasy manhwa to find out for yourself. This manhwa is literally wholesome of cuteness that will make you cry, feel pleasant and happy. It is funny and lovely, but the story isn't as tricky as you would expect. But it is still an amazing read if you are into romance webtoons with a little fantasy theme in them. Number 9. Days of Hana. The best webtoon I have read up until now. The story is about the hardships and the discrimination of werewolves and Haru's and Hana's unconditional love for each other. All of the points are portrayed very realistically, and the story in general is very beautiful and unforgettable. Although it is one of the saddest webtoons I have ever read, I would still highly recommend it. I wish this could turn into an anime or something. The main characters were sweet and lovable, and the storyline was nice and easy to follow. I would highly recommend this to anyone. But just a warning, if you can't handle sadness, then this might not be for you. Number 8. Room of Swords. Jirus wakes up in a world overrun by monsters, but guess what? This isn't his first time. In fact, he was in this loop 34 times. Yet, he thinks it is his first time. To ensure his survival in this dangerous world, he needs to collect the boss sword. But it isn't that easy since the boss sword is only found in the Room of Swords, which is a far more dangerous place to set foot. Can he achieve it somehow? Or is there anybody else in this mysterious world? Before you read this amazing fantasy manhwa, make sure you have a little patience. In the early chapters, the artwork is a little messy and the quality isn't that good, but don't let that change your mind. Number 7. Lisa. The story follows Rano, a demon hunter who is in search of his little sister. On his way, he encounters a demon who is not affected by sunlight like other ones. This person seems to know who Rano is, but Rano doesn't remember any of his past. But in his dreams, he often saw this person. And what could the relationship between these two be? This story is so unrated for how flippant good it is. It's good at the beginning, but the further you get, holy shit the plot. Character relationship, especially between Lisa and Ares, there is mythology and actually a good plot. Please read this, it's so good. Number 6. Rooftop Swordsman. Neung Kwang woke up from a coma after 9 months when he got beat up by 8 of his classmates. But in the process of getting justice for his son, his father committed suicide. Not knowing what to do, Neung didn't leave his room for months. The days are passing, the same, but he couldn't do anything since the investigation served their sentences later. One day, a strange phenomenon enticed him, and God himself whispered to Neung. If you haven't read this fantasy manhwa yet, you are missing a lot. It is basically a revenge story, but isn't like the usual action fantasy webtoons you read every day. The action scenes are so insane, and artwork makes it even more appealing. Number 5. Triple S class suicide hunter. In the mysterious RPG dungeon-like tower, Confucius Kim lives a mundane existence, envying all the star hunters. One day, his wish for more is granted with a legendary skill to copy others' abilities at the cost of his life. Before he can make sense of it, he is killed by the number one hunter, the Flame Emperor. But this activates his skill and now he is copied a new one, the ability to travel back in time. Upon that, how will Confucius use these skills to outplay the competition and rise to the top? Moving on to number 4. Villains are destined to die. This game got me obsessed. It's like it's taken over my life. Wait, hard mode activated? No. It has literally taken me and thrown me into the part of Penelope Eckhart. Love is easy as the heroine, but as the hated villains, I am trying very hard not to die. At the hands of my brothers, the prince, a fork, every possible ending is death. This world is stacked against me, but can my wits and insider game knowledge score the affection of these male characters? Or the reset button? Number 3. Kingsmaker. Wolfgang Golden Leonard, the fourth prince of the kingdom, returns to the palace after years of living in hiding. He rejects everything about his new royal life, but is intrigued by the mysterious and dutiful Shin Shu-hyuk, a catamite of the king. As Wolfgang slowly opens up and learns the ways of the palace, Shu-hyuk begins to see something special about the wild, unkempt, and stubborn young prince. He might just be the one Shu-hyuk has been waiting for, the one who could light the flame of rebellion. 2. Who Made Me a Princess? The beautiful Athanasia was killed at the hands of her own biological father, Claude the Algar Obelia, the cold-blooded emperor. It's just a silly bedtime story, until one woman wakes up to suddenly find she's become that unfortunate princess. She needs a plan to survive her doomed fate, and time is running out. Will she go with plan A, live as quietly as possible without being noticed by the infamous emperor? Or plan B, collect enough money to escape the palace? Or will she be stuck with plan C, sweet-talking her way into her father's good graces? And finally, number 1, the beginning after the end. King Gray was the best among the ability users in his world, but he was murdered and reincarnated into a new world filled with magic. He was born. It felt like life has given him a second chance. Indeed, it is a second chance with a good family, a cute little sister, and a beautiful girl named Tess as his best friend. But underneath this peaceful life lies a prophecy that can question his very existence. Starting our list of fantasy webtoons and manhwa with this one might be a good choice because it isn't like any other manhwa you have read till now. If you are fond of isekai manga, then you are going to have one hell of a ride with this one. As we said earlier, fantasy manhwa involves some good world building involving mythologies, legends, and an unimaginable world. And we did everything we could to provide you with one unique and amazing list. If you haven't read many fantasy webtoons yet, you can try the ones we mentioned below with all the unique recommendations. Since we only conferred you with fantasy manhwa instead of some fantasy manga, we are sure you will love them. Be sure to subscribe and like this video if you found or have fun reading any of this manhwa. Also, take care and see you next time. Adios!